Hey guys, it's Jago. Welcome back to my channel, and today we have a guide for Pandæmonium Asphodelos, the third circle. You guys might have already seen my other guides for the first and second circle, or my extreme trial guides. We're going to be doing this guide in basically the same format as all the other ones, so hopefully if you enjoy this style of guide, it will be helpful to you. I want to start off real quick before we get into this fight. Like, it's a normal mode. I know you guys can see that we have markers here. The reason why I put markers down in this fight is because there's going to be 4 ads that spawn that need to have an AoE dropped on them, and they get marked with numbers on people's heads and which order they're going to go off. You do not need markers for this. Please don't think that you need markers for this. I just did this as a quick thing, just in case there were any other mechanics that we had to deal with on top of it in later phases of the fight, to help my guys adjust to it quicker. So it's not necessary, but if you want to do this, you can. Don't feel like you have to. That being said, let me just get into the fight. So I do spread low opener on this one because there's going to be raid wide damage coming up right off the rip. So as you can see, we have our earthly star down. So you can use Astro's spread low to mitigate this, or Earthly Star to heal up from it afterwards. Mitigation here is nice though. Alright guys, so as you can see, the first mechanic's happening and I'm already behind. Let's go ahead and go back. Alright, so we're going to have Experimental Fire Plume. This is going to be the first mechanic that the Phoenix does. Experimental Fire Plume is going to give us one of 2 different things to deal with. It's either going to be several circles that spawn on 2 sides of the arena. Actually, let's color this. It's gonna be circles that spawn on 2 sides of the arena, and then they erupt around clockwise, then into the center. Or it's going to be a big circle AoE around this whole part of the arena. One of 2 things. We're going to be able to tell which one it is based on the fire orb that the Phoenix channels prior to the. So we'll see that right now. Alright, as you can see here, we have a bunch of the smaller orbs. That's what these guys orbiting around the Phoenix are going to indicate, that it's going to be the ones that go around the arena in the clockwise pattern. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the middle. We want to start in the middle here for this, and then after the first 2 circles go off, we're going to move into them. That's going to be our safe spot. It's into the circles on the outside. Alright, let's go ahead and watch it play out. So we'll move into the middle, There we go. There's our 2 circles. So that's going to be our safe spot. We're going to move out into this circle here after these resolve. Wait for it to go away, move out and in. Then the other circle is going to be coming around from this side here. As you can see, they're going clockwise. So we're going to need to scoot just a tiny bit this way just to avoid that second one. And that's all the movement we're going to have to do here. So it's going to go mid, start in the mid, come out where it went away, move just a tiny bit out of the way. That's it. Alright, let's go ahead and watch the mechanic resolve, guys. There was the middle, so after that you're safe to move back in. Then we have Experimental Fire Plume again. This is going to be the other one. As you can see, we have a very large orb of fire this time, and it's just a singular one. So that's going to indicate that we're going to have the circle AoE in the center of the arena. So remember, multiple orbs is clockwise around the outside and center, and then 1 orb is just a circle AoE on the middle of the arena. Next, we're going to have Scorched Exaltation. This is just raid-wide damage. Mitigate and heal through this. Heart of Condemnation is happening next. That's a tank buster. As you can see, the tank moving the buster out of the group. That goes on both tanks at the same time, by the way, so make sure to mitigate that. Alright, the next we are going to have Darkened Fire. Darkened Fire is what I was talking about earlier with the ads. As you can see, there's 4 of them. They are all invulnerable. Guys, these ads here. All these ads are invulnerable, so we cannot do damage to them. You can see them on the markers here. So what's going to happen is 4 players are going to get marked these little crystals on top of their head. You can kind of see them here. I'm actually going to have one on my head, and I'll spread out here so you can see it. With a number. We're also going to get a number. So that's why I put the markers down, guys, so we could just go to our number. But it seems 9 times out of 10 that doesn't work, and everybody just goes to whichever one they're closest to, which is totally okay. We just need to make sure that each of these ads gets hit by the AoE that's going to go on the persons with the crystals above their heads, because that's what kills them, since we can't do damage. So we spread out there, take care of the ads. Alright, next we're going to have Cinder Wing. That is just going to be a half arena cleave, so we'll move out of the way. If it says left, move right if you're behind the boss. If you're a tank, you'll literally move the direction it tells you. Alright guys, and if you've ever done the Suzaku trial, you'll definitely know this mechanic, because what's going to happen here is Phoenix is going to do a big cleave down the middle of the arena here, based on where they're positioned. So this whole part of the arena here is going to be unsafe. And we're also going to get spread markers, big purple spread circles on us, just like we do in Suzaku. So we're going to want to make sure we're just splitting up, getting out of that cleave. The circles are not going to happen yet, but the next time that Phoenix does that mechanic, those will come into play. So you'll see why that matters. Now we're going to get Firestorm, and she is going to spawn 2 Sunbirds. Now these Sunbirds can do cleaves on them, so we're going to want to make sure we watch for that cleave, because they'll either do it frontal or behind them. Also, we kind of want to spread these birds to opposite edge of the arena, so one tank should take one here. One tank should take one here. We just did cardinals. I mean, I guess you could do it any way you really wanted to, but we just took them to cardinals. That way the center was always like a empty spot for us to work with. There's also going to be fire raining down at the beginning of this that hits a couple times, so make sure you have like a nice regen on you or something to help you get. There's the cleave. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's kind of hard to see. There's the AoE there. But there's one of the cleaves. The massive, massive, massive half circle AoE that they both do. And those can come out either front or behind them. So that's another reason why it's good to pull these guys to the edge too, because then that gives us safe spots over here to avoid their cleaves, and the middle of the arena is usually safe for anything. Go ahead and watch this play out a bit here. So we're going to spread the birds out and DPS them down. There's the fire rain going out that I was talking about. This is where your hots would be really nice to come into play. Kill the next bird. Another fire rain happens. 2 more birds will spawn. We'll take them across. Again, like I said, we kind of opted to keep the middle our safe spot. So as you can see, like even with the cleaves, there's like a little safe spot there. And then we have these corners as well. So make sure we're positioning these guys on cardinals. That's pretty important. Alright, then another fire rain goes off. Again, shield, mitigate, heal through this. Now we're going to have Dead Rebirth. This is big damage. This is a really good place to spread low or use big cooldowns here. Neutral sect on Astro, things like that. Does big damage if it's not mitigated. We had a reprisal there and some shielding. Then we've got left Cinder Wing. We'll move to the right. Get out of that arena cleave. Next we have Fledging Flight. So what this is going to do is it's going to spawn these 4 little flood looking ads like from Halo. You can see them here being dropped around the arena right now. Each one of these is going to do a large conal cleave as well. So they're each going to cleave like a piece of slice of the arena. And they're going to go off in a sequential order. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to go behind the very first one to spawn, and we're just going to rotate in whatever way they spawn. So This was number 1 here. This was number 2 here. So we're going to go counterclockwise for this one. So we'll start here because this was the first one. So this will be our first save. And then we'll just rotate counterclockwise as they go off to resolve them. Very, very simple, guys. All right, and we'll watch that now so you guys can see how the mechanic resolves. Then there's a spread. Heart of Condemnation, that's the tank buster again. We saw that mechanic earlier. A lot of it is rinse and repeat up to this point, guys. You know how these normal bosses kind of work. It's the same stuff we've seen with kind of different variations, so. Alright, then we have Devouring Brand, and what's this going to do is says fire consumes the battlefield. This is going to cause these lines of fire to come out from all the cardinal directions. Once these come out into the middle and touch, they're going to expand actually a bit larger than what the size of the telegraph is. So what we're going to want to do is position on intercardinals. Basically out from these squares are going to be our safe spots. Something else to keep in mind too is that we can also get a spread mechanic with this. So you don't really want to have everybody in one spot. You kind of want to split people up if you can. If you can't, it's fine. Just spread afterward. Watch the mechanic resolve. There's the extension on those. Searing Breeze. That's going to be the baits there. Scorch Exaltation. This is going to be raid-wide damage here, so you want to mitigate that. Heal up afterwards. Shield. Then we're going to have Experimental Char Plume. That's the spread here. Then we'll have Fire Plume again. So you can see she did a big one, which is going to be the large circle in the middle of the arena. We need to get out. Now we have the Suzaku mechanic again. This time we have the spreads. Make sure we spread out for those. You can already tell on Savage we're definitely going to want to have light parties for this fight. Then we're going to have Tank Buster again. Fledging Flight, that's going to be the ads again. So again, this was the first one to spawn here. So we'll start behind this one and then we'll rotate clockwise. As you can see, that's the way they're spawning. Super simple mechanic to resolve, guys. Then you can see we have the plume again, so we'll need to go into the center and dodge out. Again, basically rinse and repeat from this point. Searing Breeze, that's going to be the baits, spreads. Fire is consuming the battlefield. Again, that's going to be intercardinals. Darkened Fire is ads. Now we have ads and the crosses at the same time. I'm going to drop those AoEs on the ads to kill them. Thunderwing. Want to make sure we're out of that cleave. Scorch Exaltation, that's big damage. Shield up, mitigate this. experimental char plume again. We'll have to watch for what it's going to be. We'll have the spread first. And fire plume. This is going to be either center or out. It's out, as you can see from the big fire orb there. We're going to have the dive again with the spread, Suzaku, if you will. Heat of Condemnation again, that's the tank buster. Again with the ads. Then we have another experimental fire plume here. Let's see what the channels. It's going to be center and then out. Move into the center. Out into one that just went off. And then clockwise just a tiny bit to avoid the follow-up. Not much movement required there. It looks like it needs much more than it does. As you guys can see, it's literally just rinse and repeat mechanics from this point. If you've gotten this far, you've already figured the fight out. Congratulations on killing Phoenix, or Phoenix, as I'm going to call it from here on out with the weird Hassian spelling. But guys, I want to take a second to thank you so much for watching this video. I hope these guides have helped you out. If you do like them, please give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel, as it helps me out with my growth a lot. And I hope you guys are enjoying Pandemonium and Endwalker. Thank you so much for watching.